G'day and welcome to the show. Soul Covers here. It is Tuesday, 1st of April, on to a new month. And yeah, if it's anything like March, we are going to close out the year so strong. Coming off another winning night last night. Love to see that. Let's quickly go through what games we had. So we went 4-3 last night. Now, yeah, I mean, Heat Wizards, like, you can say that's 1-1, you can say that's 1-0. Like, our stronger position on that game was the Heat. We did decide to place some of that bet back on the Wizards. That didn't work out, but we had 2 units exposed on the Heat spread. Heat end up blowing out the Wizards, so nice little pick on there. The spread closed at around 9.5, so love to see that. We'll get to the Pacers in a moment because that was just a bad bet. We cashed on the Celtics -4. That was a no-brainer, just considering how bad Memphis have been lately. You know, a bet that I was a bit disappointed didn't hit was the over in that game. That looked like a very strong bet. Live total getting as high as like 245 in the second half. Memphis just got ice cold in the fourth quarter. Our Reddit pick of the day was Rockets Lakers under 226.5. We had that down for 2.5 units. That was a great read there. Final total was around 204 points. We just saw bricks flying everywhere in that game. You know, I got some feedback, like, yeah, some people are like, oh, the Rockets, like, they scored 140 points against the Suns, like, they're gonna light up the Lakers. Like, no, like, that, even though the Suns, like, they're a bad defense, like, the Rockets aren't that great offensively normally, and scoring 140 points was a once-off freak sort of game that isn't going to happen twice in a row. I like the under better, in fact, after seeing that, because I know that's not happening twice in a row. So a bet that we're including in this slate is a bet that we cashed yesterday as well. Dallas under 43.5 wins. Now, we gave that bet out in one of our very first episodes doing the YouTube series. Go check out the Southwest Division over-unders. We gave out Dallas under 43.5 wins, and we just got paid out for that win. It is no longer possible for Dallas to win 44 games, so love to see that. But lastly, we had the Pacers -4.5. Pacers were down that game almost the entire game. They were down, like, it was looking like just a bet that you just got to write off. It didn't help that Miles Turner was a late scratch that game. Didn't like to see that. We walked into that game, I think, with a bad ticket. I think that spread closed at 4. Let's just have a quick watch of this final minute between, or no, final 5 seconds, sorry, between the Pacers and Kings. Keeping in mind, we are holding a Pacers -4.5.
One pair of pants later.
Let's just watch this because they've got Aaron Neesmith shooting one more free throw to get us to 5. Pacers were down by like 5 to 10 points in the fourth quarter. 4 seconds left. And they don't even contest him. Ah! Like, they don't even put a hand in his face. Like, I guess, like, they... Yeah, sure, like, they probably just didn't want to foul him, but still, that ended up costing us the cover in that game. Hate to see that. Yeah, just a bad beat. That turned what could have been a great day to just well, still a really good day, but turned a great day into a pretty good day. So, moving on, we have 7 games on the slate. It is a new month. Looking to continue this strong march, or continue off of a strong march. We've got 7 games on the card. I've got 5 bets locked in. few of them still playable. We managed to sniff out a bad total once again. We will get into that. So let's pull the odds up. Let's pull the model up. This is not the first game we'll be covering. This is from yesterday. All right, first game we're covering is the Portland Trailblazers in Atlanta playing the Hawks. Hawks coming off a nice win against the Bucks. They won as like 5-point underdogs in Milwaukee, beat them by 20. Blazers coming off a bad loss against the Knicks. Still pissed off about that one. Anthony Simons is questionable. He did play last game against the Knicks, carrying that questionable tag, so I would lean towards him playing this game. Scoot Henderson is out. Bit of a desperation spot for the Blazers. Their season is like dwindling. They are looking pretty unlikely for the play-in, but they're still mathematically possible. This spread has like bounced around a little bit. Opened at Hawks -6.5. At Circa, we've seen the line like bounce around between like 6.5, 5.5, 6, 5. Most books now like at a consensus at around 5.5. Projections at Hawks -4, so a bit of an edge here towards the Blazers. I certainly agree with this. I would, like, gun to my head, I would take the Blazers. Blazers do have a really good record against the East, against the spread, 18-9 against the spread versus the East, and Blazers did win their last game against the Hawks in Portland as 4.5-point home underdogs. I personally don't have access to a Blazers +6. I believe the only one you can get is at DraftKings, which, yeah, I do not have access to that. And we see the market starting to move towards the Hawks now as well. It looks like a consensus 6.5 on... No, I'd say it's consensus 6, 5.5. Bit of weird line movement. Yeah, for me it would be Blazers or nothing. I've got nothing on the spread at the moment. Same goes for the total. We saw this open at 237.5 at the rec books, 238 at the sharp books. Very little movement on this total. I have zero opinion on the total. Lean towards the Blazers, but I don't have anything on them. Next, we have the Sixers in New York playing the Knicks. Oh. We saw this spread open at 14 at the rec books, 14.5 at the sharp books, now at 14.5 across the board. Nick's still missing 3 point guards. It's going to be Quentin Grimes' revenge game for the Sixers. Not much movement on the spread. Projections at Knicks -15. In terms of a lean, I'd say probably Sixers, but I'm not backing the Sixers, no way, and I don't really want to back the Knicks as 15-point favorites with missing 3 point guards. Even if they just did really well against the Blazers, that was more of the Blazers just going cold more than the Knicks playing really well. Let's get to the total, where we are going back to the well. Sixers overs. We're going back to the well, so... we saw this total open at 224.5 at the rec books. It started to like dip down. It was going lower and lower and lower. Got as low as 222, which I just do not agree with at all. This is Sixers defense is the second worst defense since the All-Star break, playing a bit faster as well. I keep harping on about it. Sharp books opened at 224.5. Circa opened at 223.5. Bookmaker opened at 224. Bookmaker opened at 222.5. Okay. So for me, as I started to see the market moving back up towards the over, I was like, yep, I'm going to buy in on some Sixers over. Projected total at 228.5. Sixers bad defense going up against the Knicks, 5 out spacing. Knicks 57% to the over at home. Sixers 67% of their games go over on the road. You know what has made this Sixers defense so bad is they are the worst team in the league in allowing their opponents to shoot layups. They give up the most shots at the rim in the league. Yeah, guess what? The Knicks, like they have great spacing. They don't actually get up a lot of threes, but with that spacing, they shoot the fourth most shots at the rim. So we picked up an over 222, picked that up for 2 units. There is a 222 and a half available at FanDuel right now. I would go take that. Knicks team total over, also worth a sniff. I do not think it would be around 121. I think it'd probably be around like 116, 118, something like that. So we like the over in this game. This Sixers defense is just you want to be finding ways to bet the over against this Sixers defense. Bulls and Raptors. Raptors coming off a big win versus the Sixers. Bulls on a back-to-back spot. Just got blasted by the Thunder. Is it time to sell high on the Bulls? I think that Thunder spot was probably the time to sell high on them. Maybe this is the spot as well. Josh Giddey is questionable. RJ Barrett and Abaji are both out. Spread opened at Bulls -5.5. We've seen some 5s start to pop up as well. Circa is at 5. Projections at Bulls -5 as well. I would, lean the Raptors as the better side, but I'm not playing this spread. Let's get into the total where we've got a lot of action down. As you can see on my screen, this total opened at 239.5. Now, we've got this total projected at 226.5. Now, I don't agree with that. Some of that projection does price in like recent performance where the Raptors have been the best defense in the league since the All-Star break. Now, if we have a look at the Raptors' schedule since the All-Star break, they've played the Magic twice. They're at bottom 3 offense. They've played the Wizards 3 times since the All-Star break. They've played the Jazz twice, the Sixers twice. They've played the Hornets. They've had by far the easiest schedule since the All-Star break. You can go check out my Raptors or my Atlantic Division over-under YouTube episode. I did harp on the fact that the Raptors have the easiest schedule to finish the season. Now, I didn't place any bets on the win total just because of the tanking angle, but so yeah, like their number 1 ranked defense post All-Star break, that is inflated by the fact they've just been playing bad teams. But still, if you price in the like strength of schedule, I'd say this total, a fair number for this total is around 233, 234. So when I saw this 239.5 pop up, I went and had a chat with a few people. I was like, this does not seem right. And we all agreed. So yeah, I went and took the under 239.5 for 3 units. Then from there, we see FanDuel open at 234.5. Just wild to see 2 numbers so far off. I go and look at PointsBet for me. It's Fanatics in America. I go and see that PointsBet is now at 238. I'm like, yep, I'm taking another unit on this under. So now we've got 4 units down on the under in this game. 3 at 239.5 and 1 at 238.5. And now we see the total at 236. So we're holding some strong tickets there. Love to see that. In terms of Bookmaker opened at 237. Now they're at 236. So love to see the sharp books also moving down. Circa is at 237. Their total hasn't budged yet, but the entire board is at 236. In terms of what you can do coming into this game with nothing, I would still still like the under. I reckon this probably closes at 235, 234 maybe. terms of what I'm gonna do, yeah, I already got 4 units down on the under. If this gets as low as like 234, I will probably place some of it back on the over, maybe a unit on the over, but we are loving our under tickets on this game. Next, Warriors and Grizzlies. Grizzlies just in absolute free fall at the moment. They've just had a hot, like, this schedule is just brutal for them. So this is their 3rd game in 4 nights, all at home, but they played the Lakers, the Celtics, and now they've got the Warriors. Now, this spread, it opened at Warriors -2.5 at the rec books. If you're holding a Warriors -2.5, congratulations. That is a great ticket. That has moved through some key numbers. Sharp books open at Warriors -4.5. Now we see movement up off the sharp number to 5.5. So, big clean injury report for the Warriors. Kuminga is questionable. Grizzlies, no injury report as of yet. I would say Jar's going to play. Triple J's going to play. Yeah, I was just looking at the Grizzlies, and this team is 4-20 against the spread in their last 24 games. 4-20. It's just fucking wild, man. 4-20. You know, the Grizzlies, like, before the All-Star break, they were one of the best bets. Like, you could just rely on this team to cover after a loss, cover in a back-to-back spot where you're getting a good number on them. This team was just dominant at home against the spread. That is just no longer the case. This team is in free fall. Now at 5.5, definitely priced out in terms of the spread. I'd say it's still like Warriors or nothing, but I'm not holding a Warriors ticket. If you are, congratulations. Looking at the total, 237.5 at the rec books it opened, 238 at the sharp books, projections at 237.5. I have nothing on the total either. Just need to see how this Grizzlies team starts playing with this new coach, whether they continue to play fast, whether they slow things down a little bit. It's hard to tell. There's lots of news coming out about this coaching situation. I do not have time to get into it. There's a lot better people who will talk about that than me. So let's move on to Magic Spurs. Cole Anthony is questionable. Charles Bassey remains to be out. Anytime Charles Bassey is out, you've got to look to fade the Spurs. Not really, but we seen this spread open at Magic -4, rec books and sharp books. Not much movement here. If we just bring the spread up as well, we do see a juiced 4 for the Spurs here on Bet365 projections at Magic -4 as well. So yeah, like I was just looking at this spread, like seems like a Magic spot, even though they're on a back-to-back. Like the Spurs just aren't very good. They are coming off a 40-point loss to the Spurs. That kind of worries me a little bit. This is something that I dug up, and yeah, wow, we're like 20 minutes into the episode, and I still haven't said please like, comment, and subscribe because, yeah, I've dug this up. You can't just Google this, but I've got a Magic -4 ticket. Let me explain why. The Magic are 18-8 against the spread. Magic are 18-8 against the spread versus bottom 10 defenses. That's a really nice trend. Like you can't just go and Google what this against the spread record is against bottom 10 defenses. Spurs, bottom 10 defense and the worst defense since the All-Star break. Like Magic as a whole, the middle of the league against the spread. What are they? They are slightly below 500 against the spread. But they don't have any trends that are above 60%, but 18-8 against the spread versus bottom 10 defenses. I'm going to buy into that. Now this is like probably the most square bet that I've placed. Like the whole world is going to be betting the Magic in this spot. Sometimes square bets win. We're rolling with it. I like it. 18-8 against the spread versus bottom 10 defenses. This is the number I played as well. You might bet MGM's got a 3.5. You could play that. I don't have bet MGM, so I played this. We got 2 units down on that, still available. Go and grab it. That is a great trend to play into. Looking at the total, we've seen the rec books open at 218.5. We saw the sharp books open at 219.5. We saw Circa move up a full 2 points up to 221. We saw Bookmaker move up from 219.5 to 220. And yeah, we're liking, projections like the over. I don't have a ticket yet on this over. It is one that I'm looking at. Just want to see a little bit more market movement here. It is tough to play into a Magic total at 220 or greater, even if it's the Spurs. Magic are the second best under team and second slowest team in the league, as you can see on screen. So over 220 is one that I am looking at. Circa's at 221.5. So anytime you can get a point of CLB on Circa, you take it every single time. Moving on to Suns and Bucks. KD is out for this game. Dame is out for this game. We saw this spread open at Bucks minus 6.5 at the rec books, 7.5 at the sharp books. They have now met in the middle at 7. In terms of what I like on this game, I don't have anything on the spread, but I prefer the Suns a lot more than the Bucks in this spot. I mean, both teams are coming off really bad losses, especially the Suns. Yeah, I prefer the Suns just to play into the star goes out, team steps up angle. They're also coming off a 40-point loss. Yeah, maybe I'll try pick up a Suns +7 if I see any of the sharp books move to 6.5, but I don't have anything on the spread as of now. Looking at the total, where we saw this open at 220.5 at the rec books. What did they open at the sharp books? They opened at 225.5 at the sharp book. So bit of discrepancy there. We got this total projected at 237.5. Now that does account for Dame being in the lineup, KD being in the lineup. I say a lot on this show. Damian Lillard, top 5 over player in the league, probably worth around 7 to 8 points to a total. KD, he's a bit more of a tricky player to price on a total. Like, yes, he's a very good offensive player, but he also is like one of the Suns' better defenders. Just his long arms, obviously he's a veteran presence. He knows how to play good positional defense, even if he's not very athletic anymore, at least on defense. I'd say KD probably worth around 4 to 5 points to a Suns total. So let's say we meet in the middle and price those two players as being worth 12 points to a total combined. Then the projected totals at 225. So we are holding a Suns over 222.5. Bit of a market read as well. We saw the board moving up off that number, so picked up an over 222.5. I don't like the fact that that Circa has moved down from 225.5 to 224. So in terms of what you can do if you're coming into this with nothing, I just wouldn't play into 224.5. Seems like a pretty good number. We'll take our 222.5. Got that down for 2 units. Last game on the card is Wolves and Nuggets. I'm going to keep this one very short and sweet. You shouldn't bet into this game until you know what's happening with DiVincenzo and Naz Reid. They might be suspended from that Pistons brawl. And yeah, in terms of what I want Wolves and I want over, but DiVincenzo and Naz Reid are both players that are really important to both a Wolves spread and an over ticket. So I don't have anything on this game in terms of the market movement. Spread opened at 2.5 at the rec books. Also 2.5 at the sharp books. We've seen both move up to 3.5, so a bit of Nuggets action entering the market. Maybe these guys are going to be suspended. Jamal Murray is questionable. That's not good if you want the Nuggets. But yeah, I'm not playing into this game until I know more about what's happening with these two Wolves players. So let's get into our best bets for today. We have 5 of them. We picked up an over 222 between the Knicks and Sixers, just trying to play into overs on the Sixers. Worst defense, or second worst defense since the All-Star break. We are also holding, and sorry, you can still pick up an over 222.5. I'll go play that at FanDuel for Knicks Sixers. Suns Bucks over 222.5. Not like in love with that ticket, but we'll take it. I wouldn't play 224 over. We are loving our positions on the Bulls and Raptors game. Already sitting on great tickets there. Maybe I'll play some of it back if it gets down to 234. Let me know in the comments down below if you picked up at 239.5. I'd love to know if some of you guys picked up an under 239.5. I feel great about that because we did tweet that one out. It was available at Fanatics and DraftKings at Open. If you're in Australia, it would be PointsBet. We also like the the Magic -4 in what is a very square bet to place. Very square bet to place, but as I said earlier, Magic 18-8 against the spread versus bottom 10 defenses. The Spurs are the worst defense in the league since the All-Star break. You can still go pick that up. We only placed that bet like 10 minutes before we started recording as we were trying to go through the slate. So you can still go pick that up. It is, Bet365 has got -4 for -105 and it is still there. Go grab it. Until next time, let's get them books sold too.